Hi everyone, Jenny with On Fire Fit, and today is a Q&A. I got a list of questions from a friend of mine, and I thought this would be a great time to answer questions. And so, kind of a little different format than what I normally do. So I hope that you'll stick around. I will do a runway in these shoes at the end, but these were also by request. And so I will show you up close and give you a runway, but we'll talk about these little questions. First, let's look at the shoes. Okay, this pair is clearly looking a little large, huh? Because my toe is not peeping through very well, but this is one of my older pairs of shoes. So I have had requests for kind of reviewing my older pairs of shoes and wearing them. This is one of my oldest pairs of shoes, and I'm actually considering whether or not to keep them in the wardrobe, but I will do a closer analysis with Patreon. But this is the shoe. This is Sam and Libby, and I bought these shoes for myself a very long time ago, and they have gotten a lot of good use. Okay, I have not actually read all these questions through recently, so I may read a question and then bypass it. I might even tell you why I'm bypassing it. But I thought, you know, when these questions were sent to me originally, I was not in a position to make a video, and there was just, I think there was a lot going on. And now I am kind of going back and making sure I'm kind of hitting the requests. So first question, where are you originally from? I don't share information about my location, so we won't go there. How long have I been with my husband? It has been 25 years. And how did I know that he was the one? That is a good question that involves a lot of details. One thing that first made me realize he could be in the potential running was when we were talking about something and it came up that he was a Christian. So I was like, okay, that I will, now he's in the, you know, the running, as far, not that I had a list of people or anything, but you know, that was important to me. I knew that I wanted to have somebody with a like mind on that front, especially with having kids. So how long have you been doing ballet? I have been doing ballet since I was 3 years old. My mom was my first teacher, and after I had our second child, a couple of years after having him, I decided that I wanted to do ballet for adults and created my own program called Booty Ballet. And we do a class that involves traditional ballet, but also abs and weights and some stretching and things like that. So that was, you know, kind of my evolution from doing traditional ballet into teaching. What inspired you to want to be in the healthcare field? That is interesting. I was just talking to my daughter about that. When I was in college, I graduated with a different degree, and I did not gravitate toward science because I didn't like chemistry. But in all reality, I don't need to have a love of chemistry to do what I do. But it's interesting how those things sort of shift your path when you're younger and you don't realize it doesn't really matter, just get through it. I love helping people. So I used to take a lot of those back when I didn't know what to do with my life. I took a bunch of quizzes on my personality, and I definitely needed to go into the helping field in order to kind of fit my personality. And I was kind of interested in the healthcare field right at the end of college. I was in an internship for social work, and I was working in a psychiatric hospital, and we were working with doctors, and I thought, I think I would rather be doing what they were doing. And that was the first thought I had. As I kind of continued in all of my multiple jobs after college and still not knowing what I was going to do with my life, I was volunteering in a physical therapy department, and I ended up dating an emergency room doctor. And in a very short period of time, several people suggested getting into medical field. And so I really kind of explored it deeper after that situation. How long did it take you to transition to eating healthy consistently? First of all, what do you count as eating healthy consistently? Because I still like to eat my tortilla chips from time to time, and I still will grab a handful of jelly beans when it's close to Easter or whatever. We still had leftover Easter jelly beans for a long time, and I was like, oh no, this is going to be a problem. But I would say I've always had a passion for health, because a lot of there's a lot in our lives that we don't have control over, but there are some things we do have control over, and that is taking care of our bodies. And that doesn't guarantee that everything is going to work out perfectly, but at least you know you did your part in trying to take care of yourself. And I love to see how people transform in their kind of way of thinking, their life, their energy, and everything when they start to eat healthier and take care of their bodies and work out and exercise. And so I guess to me, it's always been a passion to see people healthy, including myself. But that whole pattern is not something that has been a straight line for me. I have struggled a lot over the years with what does it mean to eat healthy? Because I came from the generation when fat was a evil thing. And I think it created some bad mindsets around a whole entire food group. And that was not eating healthy, but back then that's what we thought was eating healthy. But there was some undoing of unhealthy thought processes that I had to go through. And then there's always fad diets constantly, and people thinking that this is the healthiest way to eat, and then we find out that, well, maybe not, and there's always, pros and cons to everything. So I guess to me, eating healthy means eating mindfully, trying to eat according to what your body really needs, not getting trapped in craving cycles that are not good for you. So, eating balanced, lots of vegetables, trying to incorporate the healthier versions of things that aren't processed. But I've also been an extreme person in the past. And so what I consider to be healthy now is inclusive of tortilla chips, because I think it was very out of balance before when I was super stringent, and it actually wasn't healthy. So that kind of opened up a whole topic. Maybe I'll make a separate video about that. Okay, how long have you been doing your ballet and exercise classes to help people of all ages? Well, I touched on that earlier. I did start teaching dance to little kids right after, well, actually in high school and college and then after college. But when I really transitioned to just adults was when my son was 2, so that's been about 14 years ago. In one video you said you are connected to some young kids in another country, but do you still stay in contact with them? Okay, so what he's referring to is the school that I support with some of my funds that I earn from On Fire Fit. And it's a group of underserved women, and they are young women, and they are going to school to become nurse assistants. So therefore they can help take care of themselves as well as their families. And so you hear about, is it better to give people fish or to teach them how to fish? I would say this is a situation of teaching people how to fish. Thankfully, they are being given fish too. I mean, they have their needs met, but this is an opportunity to train them how to take care of themselves. And therefore, I think that's how you get people out of poverty. How did you come up with the confidence to start a YouTube channel? And how do you feel now since creating it? Wow, that's a great question. How did I come up with the confidence? Back when I started the YouTube channel, my friend who was helping me with that school I just talked about, she and I set up the YouTube channel. And at the time, I really didn't know what direction I was going. I was really making some ballet video clips. And that was primarily what I was doing because I had made an exercise video for those young women in that school to do for exercise, because she had said, you know, they're learning about hygiene, they're learning about a career, they're learning all about, you know, life skills, but they don't exercise. And so I had created a video for them doing ballet, and you know, she took that video to them in their country and you know, had them learn this workout. And that is really what started the YouTube channel, is I started with the ballet. So I feel very grateful for YouTube channel that God has been navigating me through this, and that I have had an opportunity to talk to people that I would never know otherwise in real life. It's been a huge blessing to me. And it's also been a lot of growth for me as a person, learning about myself, learning about what I need in order to grow, and all of that. There's been a lot. So even though it seems like I put out all this content that is, you know, maybe revolving around some level of motivation or whatever, it actually has blessed me probably mostly. Did you ever travel outside of the US before, and where? I have traveled a little bit, but not a lot. And yes, a little bit out of the US. We traveled out of the US for our honeymoon, and primarily that's it. We spent most of our time and money on sending our kids to school, a Christian school. And we just decided that me being at home with the kids and sending them to a Christian school was our priority, more so than travel. So, you know, everybody chooses their own path and what their priorities are, and that's just what we decided. Oh, I missed one. Okay, what other goals do you have planned for a bigger positive movement? What other goals do I have a bigger positive movement? Okay, I'm always a work in progress where that's concerned. I would love to see people have more conversations, more understandings, and more people. You don't have to agree with each other, but not bash each other, and learn how to have more conversations. And I think that's in all different areas, all different things, whether it's politics or religion or any of the stuff that goes on in the world right now. You said you went to a Christian school when you were younger. Did you ever wonder how different was private school or public school when you were a student? Yes, I actually, one year I did go to a public school. My dad went to the seminary, and we had to go out of state to live for a year where he was going to school. And we were in a public school for that year. And I have to say it was an interesting experience because I found out that the public school had a lot more resources than what our school had, as far as like we were able to go to a very nice camp, and it was just, you know, part of the program and things like that. I do recall a few things happening while I was there. I ended up getting along with people, but when I first came in, I think those kids had been, I was in 6th grade at the time, and the school I went to went up to 6th grade. So these were kind of like the kids that had been in the school together for all these years, and now they're kind of like Big Man on campus now. And here comes me, California girl, dressed totally different. And it was a little bit, I felt a little bit like a fish out of water. And there was a little bit of rudeness about, you know, well, is God going to strike me with lightning because I don't believe what you believe? And it was really very weird to me because I didn't even talk about my faith back then. So I think somewhere along the line, they found out or whatever, but it was a little odd. But I just was like, I've never experienced this before. This is different. And I just kind of took it in stride. And then, you know, I made friends with people, and I still have some of those friends to this day. So, yeah, it was a good experience, I would say. How was my school? Was it strict? I guess to me it wasn't strict, but I was always kind of a rule follower, and to me it didn't feel strict, but maybe to somebody that is more rebellious, maybe it felt strict. I don't know. Did you ever consider doing live video chat sessions with others, talking about healthcare and better ways to live? Yes, I would be open to talking about health and better ways of living. I have had some of those opportunities at times. I do have a bad jaw problem, so I do try to limit my talking as much as possible. So a lot of what I do is try to make the videos, which is more hitting a larger group. One-on-one is great, and I absolutely love it. And I actually still am doing one-on-one in person, and, you know, sometimes through phone calls, but I just end up having to limit how much I talk, you know. So I never thought I would become a friend to you. Did you think that we would become friends from YouTube connection? Okay, so he is a friend that I met through YouTube. And, you know, I don't know how God brings people together. I think that it is very interesting how we make connections with people. So did I think, I guess I didn't really think about it too much. It became the more that you talk, the more that you realize, hey, this is a good person, want to get to know you. And so it kind of evolves, you know, as you learn about the person. Do you think and feel that your subscribers really enjoy your time you put into each and every video? Well, I would say yes. I do think that people give me great feedback. I do think that everybody has a different viewpoint of what I do. And I think that they maybe enjoy it for different reasons. I do love the group of people, or the ones that actually notice my purpose for being on YouTube, but I understand that not everybody is looking at me through the lens that I'm hoping for. So I just accept that that's part of the nature of being in social media. How did you create your fashion style, or what inspired it? Because you know how to dress. Thank you. That's a good question. I love feminine. I love kind of Audrey Hepburn. I like the idea and the look of beauty that leaves something to the imagination. I think that we, for the most part, have sort of gotten away from that. And I think that there's something about classic beauty that is almost getting refreshing again. But I just love that women were traditionally with these feminine values, and that we get to experience all the pretty things. And I don't know, I guess that's kind of where my style comes from, is that sort of mindset. When did you start having a passion for wearing high heels? Which ones are your favorite? Okay, so my passion for wearing high heels started, there's not like a specific time, but I've talked about this before, but one of the things I liked about shoes and heels is that they're quick and easy to try on. So I wasn't a big fan of going in the dressing room, and it just seemed like it took so much effort and blah. But like a shoe display, I could see it, I could try it on really quick. And then I started to notice, like, okay, I have this sort of plain outfit, but when I put on this pair of shoes, wow, like now it looks really different, you know? And so I think that that is where things really took off. Plus my husband tapped into my enjoyment. And so then he kind of went hog wild, if you hadn't noticed. What are my favorites? I love my mules. I love my Louboutins. These are probably very close to the top of my list because they're a reminder because of my husband. He was like, when we were in Vegas, I told this story before too. I'll try these on because that was the other question. Will you try them on? When we were in Vegas, he had me try these on, and he bought these for me for going through all of my belly surgeries. How sweet is that, right? So these have good memories for me. I love how delicate and feminine they are. The T-strap is so beautiful to me. And so I guess this would be one of my favorites. And I think it's a kind of very feminine, delicate shoe. Okay, so I'll show you those. Okay, so we'll just keep these on for now. But that's a tough one because I do have a lot. I love the mules. Too many to try to narrow it down. Where do you see your passion for helping others and your On Fire Fit movement in the next 2 to 4 years? I pray about that because I feel like for a long time I have not been sure what direction to go, and so I just rely on God one day at a time. Okay, so that is the questions. We have more topic information from my friend for another day. But now let's go do a runway walk in these beautiful shoes. Before that, I will show these a little bit closer up. Okay, and so before I do the runway, giving you a little closer look here, but I will do a more close analysis with my Patreon family about the condition of these shoes and whether or not they should continue to stay in my wardrobe.